Hi everyone, Sandman here. One of my listeners has just alerted me to a video of a speech that was released yesterday on the HeForShe YouTube channel. And this speech was done at the United Nations by Harry Potter actress Emma Watson. She's basically launching a campaign called HeForShe. Even the title of her organization is suggesting that men should be utilities used by women. And I'm including a link to the HeForShe speech at the United Nations in the description below. Larissa brought this to my attention, and this is basically what she has to say. Sandman. Notice in the first few sentences of the article, it says she wants gender equality, and that Emma Watson is launching her new initiative called HeForShe. From what I've gotten from the article, according to my opinion, HeForShe is basically a utility campaign where she wants men to do stuff for women and men to give up their rights for women, calling it gender equality. Then she mentions stats about male suicide in the UK to cover up the real feminist agenda. Emma wants to launch her initiative through the United Nations to worldwide women to adopt the HeForShe agenda. This should be pointed out to many of your viewers. There were also men who were sharing their experiences of feminism on YouTube comments. And I was very pleased to see men being upset and speaking out. It confirms that the MGTOW movement is strong and growing, so thank you. Well, that's what Larissa has to say. And I don't know what her real motivations are behind supporting men going their own way, but hopefully she can fill us in on it in the comments section below this video. But nonetheless, thanks Larissa for bringing up this video to our attention. The first thing I noticed about this video is that the comments section is closed. I also noticed that the thumbs up and thumbs down features are basically disabled when you watch this video on YouTube. However, on the Yahoo comment section where this video is posted, there are almost 4,500 comments. And I'm not going to pull out any comments that stand out from Yahoo. What I found most disturbing about her video is that Watson is promoting the idea that the label of feminism is damaged. And rightfully so. And I believe it's damaged beyond repair or redemption. So now the new strategy for feminist organizations like HeForShe is to promote egalitarianism. Putting egalitarianism in the place of feminism is considered putting lipstick on a pig in my books. There's also a part in her talk where she actually mentions Hillary Clinton, which I'll get to a little bit later. What I also found shocking about her speech is that it wasn't purely focused on female empowerment, but it also focused on men in her discussion. Feminists have lost mainstream male audiences a long time ago, and now they want them back. She says that women are not identifying themselves as feminists because the word is too aggressive and isolating as well as anti-male. What a shock! Women are realizing that being anti-male might actually hurt their prospects for relationships as well as goodies in society. So now they're becoming neutral towards male identity. She also says that men and boys are suffering. Sounds to me like she's been listening to the arguments over at A Voice for Men. And personally, I think that HeForShe is run by bigger fish, and she's just a mouthpiece spewing out their ideas as well as rhetoric. Listen to the way she tries to personalize the message by bringing up her 18-year-old male friends unable to express their feelings, or how her father is being valued less by society than her mother and women in general. About halfway through this video, it had started to sound exactly like a men's rights lecture. I've heard dozens of them in person, and it looked like they were trying to emulate the men's rights movement. I even noticed that in the middle of her speech, the amount of applause that she was getting was beginning to die down. But then she brought it back up at the end, and the feminists, or new egalitarian message, came through. Of course feminism is becoming an uncomfortable word. Public opinion is now beginning to shift. And I'm including a second video linked in the description below that just shows you how things are changing and how the UK and other Western nations are becoming ghost nations. Traditional feminists are saying that masculinity is vanishing. But it's not vanishing, it's just going underground. The video I'm sharing with you talks about MGTOW ghost armies. MGTOWs are like the barbarians inside the gates. We are rebuilding our self-esteem away from the gynocentrism of our society and finding our own voice. Women can have feminism for themselves. We can have our ghost nation. It will also be interesting to see if we ever take things past the ghost nation stage and change our identities enough to start making some serious changes in the world. While unlikely, it's certainly not impossible for such things to happen. The mainstream media, which is gynocentric and feminist, is starting to die out. And we, the free men of the internet, are taking its place. We are using social media to free ourselves from the gynocentric society. Emma also says that to her, feminism is about equality, but she fails to recognize that feminism is not equality. It's all about female superiority. This is the problem with organizations using celebrities as mouthpieces for their causes. In many cases, they have no idea what the real issues are all about. I have to commend Watson for saying that gender equality is a male issue too. But in saying that, it's very insulting to men. It's like they're saying that they're now letting us have a seat at the debate table. Hey guys, feminists are now letting us have a seat at their discussion table, and we now have their permission to talk. Maybe we should start feeling honored. What Miss Watson as well as HeForShe might be starting to realize is that men, especially men going their own way, not only walked away from the table, but they're no longer interested in getting seats at that table. We don't want to sit down. Emma Watson also brought up the idea that many young men suffer from mental illness, and that male deaths from suicide for men between the age of 20 to 49 or more than cancer, road accidents, and heart disease. The least she could have done is mentioned Robin Williams. It pissed me off that not a single woman brought up the issue of Robin Williams and suicide. The vast majority of women out there can't seem to relate to paying anywhere between $4 to $6 million a year in alimony to their ex-husbands each and every single year. And then Miss Watson said that women should have equal access to education when compared to men. And I don't think that she did her research, because about 60% of college students are now women. What about equal access to education for men? Where are the rights for male students? Personally, I think that for most men, getting an expensive education doesn't guarantee them a high-paying job. And a lot of men are figuring this out and are going into trades to make money instead of getting an education, where they will end up working at Starbucks. Emma Watson also talked about a speech given by Hillary Clinton back in 1997 about women's rights in China, and how only 30% of the audience was made up of men. This seemed to really upset her. Miss Watson, I'm sure that nothing would make people happier than to have them listen to Hillary Clinton talk about girl power. Do you really think that most men want to go to feminist events? Men are leaving the game entirely with regards to family and life choices. And do you really think that any self-loving man will just sit there and listen to feminists? The few feminist events that I went to in my lifetime seem more like cult gatherings than anything else. Men don't have the benefit of equality, and they've never truly had the benefit of being superior or male superiority. They've had to build the infrastructure and build and maintain most parts of our civilization. Men have had the burden of responsibility, and the moment industrialization made that burden a little bit easier to bear, women started attacking men and claiming that they now have male privilege, and patriarchy has been oppressing them for all of history. Anyone that's read their history knows that this isn't the case. Men are finally realizing that they too have freedom, and they want women to have freedom as well. We are going our own way so that women can be free. Women have abandoned us, so now we're going to abandon them. Women are free to work at Starbucks with their college majors in English as well as political science, while they gradually pay off their student loans over the next 40 years. If that's what modern female empowerment is all about, then Miss Watson, you're completely welcome to it. Just remember though, that's life for the majority of women in Western countries. Menial jobs with little to no pay. Miss Watson, you also talk about the wage gap and say that women should get equal pay for equal jobs. And you clearly don't understand that most men and women get paid for the same time at the same job. If a woman can prove that she's getting paid less, that's called discrimination, and women can then take their company to court. If there truly is discrimination due to sex, then could it be possible that men are more capable or able to do certain jobs than women? I'm not saying there isn't any discrimination. I'm just saying that perhaps companies are paying their workers based on productivity instead of position. If someone hires me for a job, I often dictate the rate that I work for. If they don't like my rate, they can find someone else. And many of the other people in my field of expertise do not have the same skill set that I do. So why should they get paid the same as me simply for doing the same job, but not having the same qualifications? Shouldn't the quality and quantity of my work dictate my pay? I know that in the United States, most companies force their salaried employees to work overtime and for free. Here in Canada, we don't allow this practice. Most women would never agree to take unpaid overtime. And it also happens to be that the jobs with the majority of unpaid overtime are the ones where men work at them. What I got from Emma Watson's video is that feminists are now trying to reach out increasingly towards male support. And they also want a new uniting word instead of feminism. But they don't understand that naming their organization HeForShe will just push more men away. You can't call a man a utility and then say he's equal at the same time. The two terms completely contradict one another. He for she will only attract male feminists. Trying to get more men to become feminists will only bring out the white knights and manginas. And those are the weak and powerless men that can't change anything because they're too busy whining about their lives to do anything about it. Well, that does it for today's video. Thanks again to Larissa for suggesting today's video content. And thank you everyone for taking your daily dose of red pills. So enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.